So we serve companies that run or want to run SAP software. Now, SAP software is the largest enterprise resource planning software on the planet. It's ERP. With that SAP software comes a lot of needs. Companies don't necessarily want to take on the responsibility of migrating it or upgrading or running it themselves on a day-to-day basis. They just want to use it. And so we take on all those responsibility. We sell them licenses, we upgrade or implement, we put them into different clouds because of the S4 migration process going on, which is the largest upgrade cycle in history.
Hi, welcome back to Core Conversations. Today we have a very special guest, Chris Carter. He is the chairman and founder of Approyo, a serial entrepreneur and a best-selling author. Chris, excited to have you on the show, man.
Thanks, Sean, for having me. I'm excited to be here. We're both in two cold places, so hopefully the two colds coordinate together and we warm up a little bit. This is going to be hot.
Amen. Amen. Let's go. Let's get it. The podcast is all about technology, leadership, and growth, and Chris has got a real best background in the tech space. Can you give us a little bit of your history and story and how you kind of got to where you are now?
You got it. Well, nothing is easy and nothing is fast. You know, I started back in the 1980s playing on my first computers, my first Apple IIe, my Commodore VIC-20 and such. And I was fortunate enough to go off to Georgia Tech and I played on computers, worked in companies. I worked at Coca-Cola as an intern. And from there, my career took off. I learned about SAP. I learned how to be in management. I learned about technology. I learned how to work with other people. And I just kept that rolling. And finally, I decided I could do it myself, I hoped, and jumped in full force as an entrepreneur. Started my first company. Well, actually, started my second company after that and just kept going. And now, 8 or 9 companies later,
Wow.
I've got Approyo, Charging Bunny, Mugatu AI, and I just sold one company this week. We close out on Friday. So it's exciting to be able to do those things and to be able to help others and to grow as an entrepreneur and to invest with entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what did that first tech venture look like and what inspired it?
Yeah, my first tech venture was actually I left SAP to do my own thing, put out my own shingle. It was now is the largest upgrade cycle in history. But back then we thought it was the largest because it was migrations and upgrades from a mainframe system to an x86.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what? I can help out with this. I've got people, I can train people, I can do these things. Jumped in both feet. I didn't even know that I had to LLC my company. That's how fresh out of the food stand or the food patch I was. So literally, got a bunch of friends together, got a bunch of people that we thought would be good helpers. We all came together and formed an SAP services company, and we started literally going. We went right back to SAP and said, "Who do you need? What do you need?" And we started staffing up SAP projects. And we started managing, running systems for a company. This whole change back then, they didn't have basis people. We call them basis technologists.
Hmm.
So we were like, well, we'll do it all for you. You're moving. You don't want to hire all these people. And it's the same thing we're doing now. So it's good to see technology repeat itself. And we just went from there.
So did you end up selling that business to a bigger business or what was the...
So that company I did. That company I sold to a bigger, better company. Then the next company I ended up closing down, and then the next company I ended up selling again. So it's been a repetitive process. And knock on wood, I don't close any of them down. I just keep selling them or migrating them to a bigger, better entity.
Interesting. Okay. So Approyo has been around, I think, for about 14 years now. Is that correct?
Almost 15, 2011 we started, and April of this year, or 2026, will be 15 full years.
Wow. And how much has that company evolved in those, let's say, 15 years?
Oh, the evolution has been great. It started in the backyard of my house with a bottle of scotch and our fire pit with the vice president of SAP, all the way to where we are now with over 173 people globally, working nonstop on SAP, AI, and cloud-based activities.
Interesting. Wow. Wow. That's a big growth story. That's amazing.
And we were bigger at one time too. Unfortunately, COVID hit
Mm,
and knocked the crap out of us a little bit. We used to have offices in a number of different areas. Now everybody is virtual.
yeah,
We hire the best and brightest. We don't necessarily have to hire for those specific locations that we're in anymore. So that's a big change. Um, it was interesting that COVID, um, part of our business really grew and part of our business kind of fell down because of it. And so you had this balancing act that was going on. And so when that happened, lives changed all across the globe, including ours, including our business, and you had to evolve and adapt. And
I
so we
bet.
tried to do that and we tried to keep moving forward.
I bet. Yeah, COVID was an interesting time. I remember at that time I was working at Morgan Stanley and they said, "Hey, you have to be in the office. We need you here." And then all of a sudden it was like, "You can't come to the office. You have to work from home." And we were all just so confused. And
You
so,
got a laptop I can actually log into the system on?
right. So,
I had a
so
friend that worked at LSEG, London Stock Exchange Group, and the
okay,
same thing happened to them. And they've got an extremely secure system. And all of a sudden, the next day, they were handed laptops with VPNs, and they were like, "What do I do?
right.
How does this work?" And so, yeah, it was an interesting time.
Yeah, it kind of proved that we could all do it from home.
Yeah,
And they, it was, I'm sure, a huge scramble from the tech team to get everything secured. And, we had to use the VPNs and the two-factor authentications just to like get into their system. But
yeah.
once it got smoothed out, it worked really well. And then when they said, "Hey, we need you to come back," everybody said, "Why?"
That's exactly what's going on right now. You see these companies that are saying, "Okay, you gotta come back." Well, here's where I go on that, though. I think working remotely is fine for the business, but
Mhm.
what you lose the interaction between human beings.
Right.
You lose that just knocking on somebody's door or the coffee clutching. I
Mhm.
used to love going into these offices around the globe, just sitting at the coffee pot and talking to my staff. "Hey, how's this going? What's going on?" Nowadays, it is so difficult for me to know who's having babies, what's going on, who's getting married, how things are progressing in life. And I'm a people person. So I like to interact with my customers, my staff, uh, and everybody in between. And so that makes it very difficult in that regard. So I prefer, to be honest, I like having people come in and out of the offices. If you're on a client site, you're on a client site, different end.
Right.
But if you were, I don't need you to take an hour bus trip into the office every single day. Now, I would like to see you in there once in a while. I'd like to see, you know, I'd like people to interact with each other. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And that's not what we're going to do either. We're still going to keep people remote unless they're on a project site.
That's fair. That's fair. And from a leadership perspective, it is probably nice to be able to get and have some interactions with your core group, right? And understand what's good, what's bad, what's working, who's
Yeah,
dealing with what, right?
that's great to know because you know what? I have passion for them. I also have compassion for my staff to make sure that they're taken care of and they're okay. And it's hard to just jump on a Teams meeting. Just I've tried to do it. Just all of a sudden out of the blue, I'll call somebody out of the blue, and they're like,
Is everything
"Can
okay?
I help you?
Yeah.
I know this isn't a planned call, but I just want to see how you're doing. How's everything?" And
Mm.
so finally, HR said, "You know what? Stop doing that." Oop.
That's pretty rare in my experience is having leadership be involved and actually care about especially like the lower end of the tier with the teams, right?
It's hard. It is hard to keep up with everybody when you've got 173 people. I tend to stay around the managers and the staff. Get down to my sea level, of course, every day. But every once in a while, you know what? I'm not a big social media guy myself. My team takes care of a lot of all those activities. Now I go out there and I like to see what's going on. I go out to my LinkedIn. If I see things going on with some of my staff, I will ping them. I will interact with them. I don't sit on Twitters, Facebook, um, Instagrams, and stuff like that because I just don't unless I'm sharing
Right.
photos of my family. But other than that, I want to make sure that they're doing okay. How are they? Is
Yeah.
there anything I can help with? I'm more than just a paycheck, I hope to them. And I want to make sure that they know that they can have a conversation with me.
Right. That's good. I like that. I like that. So, if for everybody that doesn't quite know about Approyo, can you give us kind of like a real high level of what you guys do and who you
Yeah.
serve?
Certainly. So we serve companies that run or want to run SAP software. Now, SAP software is the largest enterprise resource planning software on the planet. It's ERP. So you have SAP and you have Oracle. With that SAP software comes a lot of needs. Companies don't necessarily want to take on the responsibility of migrating it or upgrading or running it themselves on a day to day basis. They just want to use it.
Right.
And so we take on all those responsibility. We sell them licenses, we upgrade or implement, we put them into different clouds because of the S4 migration process going on, which is the largest upgrade cycle in history.
Hmm.
And then we provide that long-term care for these organizations around the globe that makes them we take care of them and make sure that they're taken care of in a very, very professional manner and a very secured manner with our tools and our teams.
Can you talk to the S4 and the HANA and kind of how one is the car and one is the engine?
Yes. So HANA is the engine for the S4 Rise.
Okay.
Consider S4 Rise just the next variation. You had R3, you had ECC, now you've got S4, and now Rise is the mandatory cloud activities that companies have to go to. And the S or the HANA component of that is the database. And that's the engine. That's an in-memory database that allows organizations to be able to run activities much faster because it's in a very compressed state,
Hmm.
being in memory. So HANA's the engine, S4 Rise is the car, and it's really a nice Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley GTS convertible, baby powder blue, white interior. Sorry, I'm thinking about my car, the
Yeah.
car that I want
I'll take one.
someday.
I'll take one. So, who is like the ideal customer for Approyo? I mean, what's the ideal client for you guys?
So I used to say any company running SAP is a company that we can help. Now, I still believe in that in my heart, and I tell people that we can help any company that runs SAP software to a degree. But what really is our focus is we work with companies that are $2 billion in revenue on down. Companies that can make decisions fast to have a intelligent company support them and support their needs of their SAP environment, who can sell them their licenses, who can upgrade them, who can run their systems for them and manage that system so they don't have to hire 3, 5, 10, 20 different people. They so they can also have a company that doesn't silo them. You don't, we do the database, we do the application, we do the operating systems. We take all of that and put it together and we take care of all of that 24 by 7, 365. And then we've got a great tool called Overwatch. And that Overwatch tool manages, monitors, and supports the entire landscape for them, not just the SAP, but it will take care of everything and it will tell about encryption. We'll talk about security. We'll talk about end users. And it's great because it's got predictive analytics with it. So we're constantly being fed data, and that data can be used to make better decisions on the landscape and to be proactive rather than reactive, which a lot of companies unfortunately are stuck with. They're being very reactive because if a system is starting to go down or a disk drive goes down, they have to react to it. We proactively let everybody know, hey, this hit this schema, this mark. We know when this is going to go down. We need to make adjustments to this immediately. And so it's wonderful for us in that regard.
Interesting. And how much is AI incorporating into this whole process for you guys?
Oh, it's wonderful. Our Overwatch tool is literally AI based. It's all predictive analytics. It's all AI based. attachments. We built it from the ground up using the best and brightest of artificial intelligence from an open source community
Hmm.
activities. And so we use it continuously. SAP has gravitated towards the AI initiatives. So those AI initiatives are being run inside of SAP as well, and we connect with those, and it works wonderfully.
Hmm.
We're using other tools. So our coding tools, we use Claude to validate and verify all of our code before we run anything from a development standpoint.
Hmm.
We're using other AI based tools to make sure that those activities are being taken care of. We also let organizations know about other tools and how they can integrate those tools once they have clean data. So it is top of mind for me every day.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really come a long way in the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh God, yes. And it used to be old machine learning.
Right.
We used to strap 20, 50 Dells together and use all the compute power together. Um, well, literally lock, stock, and barrel used to be the old school machine learning. And now it's called AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah. The build
Same
out.
compute power, just at a different variation.
Yeah, the build out of all the infrastructure since about, I think, November of 22 was whenever I first kind of heard about ChatGPT and its launch. And um, as an investment advisor, we were really tuned into like the Nvidias of the world and AMD and Qualcomm, Broadcom, all of the structure, the infrastructure. And now it feels like they have spent a ton of money, time, and resources to build this infrastructure out. So curious to see what comes of that. And
And
uh,
look what just ChatGPT and Amazon are doing today. There's another multi-million dollar deal, 10 billion dollars or something. I think I saw this morning that they're negotiating something back and forth with.
at what point do you think that this infrastructure build will slow down or come to a bit of a completion phase for this round? Like, does it stop?
I think it's going to be coming sooner than later. I think now they're starting to get the software dialed in. The hardware is there,
Okay.
and they've done great on the hardware side. Now let's dial in some of the software, because if you can put some of the tools, NVIDIA's got some great tools as part of their chipset. You take that activity and you take that chip and you dial that software even more so than what they did. Because let's be honest, the software they're using has lagged behind. Jim Cramer made some off the cuff comment like a week or 2 weeks ago about the hardware and this and that. And he's trying to fix, and I literally instantly said, software can be utilized to make this even more powerful and more effective. Let's start building the software.
Hmm.
And so I started playing with some other stuff because I'm doing things with SAP and cloud. And lo and behold, um, I got a text from another friend of mine. He said, "Hey, did you hear what the NVIDIA did with their software stack that they're using for their chip base?" So I read it. I'm like, see, Jensen and I are on the same page. He wears a good leather jacket, and I wear a really nice golf pull up in a cold weather.
Yeah. So do you have any like names for the software side that may thrive in this next wave or evolution?
I don't, because I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out who all the players are.
Mhm.
They have been hiding to a certain degree, and they really haven't been pushing out their software activities. They've all been jumping onto, you look at all the Claudes and you look at all these chat GPT apps and all these tools that are out there that are web-based tools. Now they're doing really good things and they're working in the background with their tools. But where I see the benefit is these ERP companies. I'm an ERP guy and I
Mhm.
go out there. I look at what these companies from an ERP perspective, the business side, everything has been focused right now on the consumer side of it. The chat GPTs, the Claude per se, the
Right.
Canvas, the Gammas, the Suno, all these tools out there. And I could rattle off, there's literally thousands of these tools that are for consumer based, but the business side of it, that's where you're going to start seeing a slight change. You look at these businesses that are going to be able to dial in and be able to use whatever the software that they have. So
Mhm.
from an SAP perspective, let's dial in that SAP with the AI based tools that they're using, Joule and others. Now all of a sudden, you've tweaked and modified that. So you're bringing down your cost structure and you're raising your intelligence level.
Hmm.
And here's where I say to that: bigger, better, stronger, faster humans. And I'm going to stress that for everybody that's listening. Humans, bigger, better, faster, stronger humans are going to make your company much more successful because you're the ones that are going to help dial in your applications for the AI tools that you are going to use for your company. And
Right.
once you start doing those activities, oh, now the world is your oyster because you've got great chipsets, you've got great back end infrastructure, and now you're starting to dial in everything to that platform. And that's where the platform succeeds, in my opinion. And I think we are at least 24 months away from that. But once that process starts getting dialed in and people do that, the businesses of the world, and I think the mid-sized companies, the small businesses who really run this country, those are the companies that are going to be like, holy cow, I could do this all this application can literally run on its own, and all I have to do is this, and instead of a mountain of activity, you now have a finite amount of activity for yourself
Right.
with these great tools because you've dialed in the application to the back end infrastructure that you're paying for.
Yeah. That's just, it's like automating the tasks that people aren't
Yeah,
that good at, that take time and energy, and then giving the people freedom to be more creative and also leverage their time in a more effective way, right? So
exactly.
it's enhancing the business user perspective so that they can leverage the tech and not like replace jobs, but also to enhance existing employees. So if you have a really good sales team, you can make them way more effective, right?
John, that is it right there. Bingo. Because you don't want to replace, well, you will be, and here's where part of the problem is for my ecosystem anyways. You have the oldest group of individuals running SAP software systems. We are literally the oldest, and it's been verified. It's like
Right.
49.3 years of age.
Mm.
Now I'm 56, and I'm an old timer in my group. I'm a graybeard, as they call it, but 49.6 years of age is the average. They are starting to wean out and retire. They don't want to learn new items. Now, you get 10, 15% that do want to learn and are going to play with it, that are stuck there for the rest of their lives and their careers. But
Right.
you've got others that are going to start weaning away. Now, this is where the bigger, better, stronger, faster human comes in. You bring in somebody of that ilk who knows the tools, wants to work on the tools, plays with the tools, is interested in being a part of that. That bigger, better, stronger, faster is going to make sure that you don't have to hire after these people retire.
Right.
You're utilizing the systems and the applications of record, and you're creating a stronger foundation because as you go up the stack, you have to have that strong foundation of the infrastructure, then the applications, and you grow. So
Sure.
bigger, better, stronger, faster, not bringing in new people who fall away and retire, and
Mhm.
having stronger people who know the tools to drive you to the future state.
Yeah, I love that. It's happening. It's gonna happen, and we're
Oh, it's
seeing it.
happening
Yeah,
everywhere.
we're seeing it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm involved in that automation space and in that world, and so learning all of these tools, how they work together, and how to like best utilize them in a ecosystem has been a pretty steep learning curve, if I can be honest. And then, but once they start to show you that, hey, I don't have to do all of this manual labor like I used to, and like pick up the phone and dial one phone call at a time or send one email at a time. It's a game changer. It's really been a game changer.
And
Uh,
that's just on the sales side.
right.
And I work with the HR teams, I work with the finance teams, I work with manufacturing teams. Literally every component of an organization can use AI in some way, shape, or form to help it and make it beneficial.
Hmm.
Now, the problem is, I don't know if you remember about 6 months ago, MIT came out with this report and it just slammed the ROI. There's no ROIs in AI, blah, blah. Okay, I get the sensationalism of the title,
Right.
and once you read into it, you're like, well, "Wait a second here. They're using this tool for this. Who's the idiot that approved that? And
Right.
they're doing this with that. No, you can't do that. And what they're doing is they just were bringing in tools to say, mark the checkbox for the board of directors and the shareholders. Hey, we're using AI. 6 months later, they're not getting any. Well, you used a tool that is for code for something for sales and marketing, or you
Right.
use something that was for HR and you're trying to use that for your manufacturing. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way. And you
Right.
tried to do that, but it's be smarter about it. If you really want an ROI, talk to experts like me.
Hmm.
Find me on LinkedIn, have a conversation, and I'll send you the right information or I'll send you in the right. You don't have to hire me, just talk to me. But
Right.
don't be stupid and think that you can use Canva for something that you're going to redo your code on some Java base. I saw that. I'm like, who? Who thought that that was smart? Who thought that that was actually the way to go? And
Right.
I swear to God, John, some of the things in that report, I just literally, I'm like, my God, it was great reading over a bottle of whiskey. I tell you that.
Amen. That's fun. Yeah, I think right now there's a lot of like bifurcation in the system, right? You can kind of need one tool for one application and another tool for another application. And it's going to be interesting to see how companies integrate all these tools to service a full business cycle with,
Mhm.
from HR to marketing to sales to, you know, manufacturing to, all of it, right? And right now it feels like they're all separate. So you kind of have to understand the landscape, who's good at what, and how to implement all of those into an ecosystem.
Yeah, it's not one tool fits all.
No.
One tool does not fit every component of your company. You're going to have to use multiple tools and you're going to have bigger, better, stronger, faster people who understand that tool in those areas.
Hmm.
And now it does silo that a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're also getting the advantages of those tools for that specific group of your corporation.
Hmm. Interesting. So how many different tools do you guys use inside of your company? Is it
Oh my lord, I use every. So I start with Gemini every day. I got Chat Hub, which has got an integration with. I think I've got 18 different tools integrated with that, from Claude to everything else, depending upon if I'm working with somebody and helping them with some code activities, or if I'm helping our sales and marketing team from our marketing and sales. Um, I love Gemini, love Claude. We use Joule every day because it's an SAP tool and it's built in. And so our team uses it to understand what's going on with systems that we build. And then we have our main tool, which is Overwatch, which we integrate with the two. Um, but yeah,
interesting?
I've got a ton of tools, and I go out on these tools. Like I'm working with a company called AIB or AI4B business, and they built a tool called Revin that's got like 20 different tools built into the one tool itself. And so I'm out there playing with that with them and helping. So that's a fun thing to do. Um,
What is that
Notebook
called?
AI4B
Okay,
dot com, AI for business. And then
got it.
I love Notebook LM. That's a fun one to play on. And I
Hmm.
go out there and I play.
Yeah.
I've got my Canva, I've got my Suno. I have fun making music. I'm an executive producer for a band out in Los Angeles called Radio Black,
Okay.
and the lead singer and I have fun playing with that all the time. I'm like, TJ, pretty soon we're not going to need your voice anymore. We're just going to need you to stand on stage and look good and impress all the young ladies and men that are out there. And we joke. So now he's got a drumming gig for Tom Hanks' son. Yeah, but he's down in Nashville. Great guy. Um, but Suno's out there. You can have fun with that. I love Gamma. All my presentations go through Gamma.
Hmm.
I've done over 50 some presentations this year around the globe, and I will upload my presentation. It will help me modify it. It will help me make it cleaner, stronger, just a great profile.
Hmm.
And so I do that. So there's little things that I do all the time and play with, and just never know what I'm going to be playing with. What day, what tool, what application that I am, and what part of my team needs help with me.
Interesting. Yeah, it's cool to hear the way you use all of them and what you're using, and because there's a lot more out there that you're not using, and
Oh
and
gosh, yeah. Even if you just did an AI search or did some type of a Google search with, give me the top 100 AI tools that a small business owner could use.
Hmm.
Everything from QuickBooks shows up. Even now, Robinhood has got an AI based tool inside of it as of last night. So you're looking at some of these tools and you're like, holy cow, what the hell?
Do they make trades for you?
They do make recommendations on trades based upon what you're doing, what you're comfortable with. If you want
Hmm.
high growth and you're not afraid of the market, it will make recommendations. And I haven't set it up 100% yet because I watched the presentation last night. Hey, by the way, Robinhood, get better service because it kept crashing last night.
Hmm.
Anyways, I digress. So it gives you those recommendations and activities. And so
Hmm.
I'm assuming that companies like Robinhood, SoFi, those cloud-based companies that work in that realm and love that realm, they're doing more and more of that, where you see the Chases and the Goldman Sachs. Now they're playing with it in the background and they're using it to leverage for their people, but
Right.
they haven't deployed anything quite yet for their customers. But you're going to see that happening in the financial networks as well. That's why I love SoFi so much.
Hmm.
SoFi is on the cutting edge of those types of tools and activities. They will use those tools because they are cloud first. They have a bank, but that's only for their mortgages and other
Right.
things that they do. But they have that cloud first mentality.
Hmm.
And I love that company. So
Interesting.
great stuff coming out there in that market as well in the financial industries. And you look at healthcare and others. So good stuff. A lot of good
Yeah.
stuff up.
I'm really curious, like what it does with the biotech space with the ability to iterate with AI.
Oh,
Right.
fail fasting.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be able to use that so much more. I'm close to Madison, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and it's a big, big Madison hospital systems, big biohealth, big healthcare initiatives here with the university. They're using AI to use and bring in prompting and activities and uploading the data that they're to be able to try and find cures and to
Yeah.
be able to use Epic softwares here in Wisconsin, right
Hmm.
outside of Madison. They're using AI to understand how to leverage customer data. Because once you upload your information in Epic and you go to a doctor, they now get the opportunity to use that information to
Hmm.
benefit everybody, mankind. They're not supposed to sell it, so I don't think they sell it, but I think they use it internally to try to help with the transition activities. And I could be absolutely wrong. She could come over and say, Chris, this is what we use our AI for. And I would love to know because I think Epic is one of the premier healthcare companies on the planet. And the things that they do to be able to help patients and to support the patient activities. And if they can use AI with all that patient data to be able to understand where's, what's, and how's with
Right.
different activities, game changer,
I
game
agree.
changer. Bring that all together and share that information internally. Just don't sell it.
Right. Right. It's going to be an interesting next couple of years. What do you
Yes.
guys see for Approyo coming, let's say in the next 12 to 36 months down the pipe?
Oh, I see absolute SAP growth going on. Our team is constantly busy. We've got new contracts we're closing before the end of the year. We're trying to support organizations and their growth. We are in the largest upgrade cycle in history of SAP. And over 60% of the companies haven't upgraded and are supposed to have upgraded by the end of 2027. We've got to get these people up and going. We don't have enough staff. So we're trying to utilize our AI tools to help them upgrade, to help them support. And again, like I go back, 49.6 years of age is the average age of the SAP staff. So these people are walking away from these projects before they even happen.
Mm,
We come in with our tools and our people, and we are able to make sure that they don't miss a step going forward. So that's really our goal, is to help them, to better them. And then I keep bringing people in from the university systems who are bigger, better, faster, stronger on these tools,
yeah.
training them and coordinating with them to make them stick in the SAP ecosystem.
So what's the old legacy system that you guys are converting from? Is it the legacy SAP systems?
It's the legacy ECC system
Okay,
going to the S4 Rise system,
got it.
which is cloud based.
And do you guys corner on that market, or are there competitors in your
There's
space?
competitors out there. Of course, you've got some of the larger organizations in the world out there, the PwCs, EYs, KPMGs, and so on up there. But then you've got smaller partners like ourselves who are out there. And, you know, there's some good companies and there's some bad companies.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if anybody's doing SAP and needs some support, even if you don't want to hire me, I get it. You don't like bald men, whatever. But at least ask me some questions about some of these companies.
Right.
I've uh, I've seen some of the worst out there who have landed contracts. We've lost to them because they undercut us and they threw 500 people from offshore at it, and it was just horrible. And 3 months later, we're getting calls. These people don't know what the hell they're doing. They're
Yeah.
literally just threw bodies at me. Hell, I got a company in Milwaukee. Literally, one of the a company just literally day one dropped 100 people off at their office and said, "Go." Like, come on. And the fact that you're using offshore labor instead of somebody that's office is in your backyard is
Yeah.
irritating as well. But so much for the friendly neighbor advantage.
How much of a global presence do you guys have?
Well, we got our full global team in India. We got an India office, Approyo Private Limited. Then we've got our office in Brazil, and then we've got an office in the UK.
Okay.
So we do a fair share amount of business, not a lot, because we don't necessarily sell and market in those areas. What we do is we've got partners such as Dell,
Mm,
Insight, and others that bring us in. Ahead Technologies is another great one. They bring us into customers that need because they don't have an SAP practice. And so
interesting.
we are their SAP partner of choice and we run and support their customers with them. And we go in hand as one unit.
Got it. Interesting. So, if somebody was looking to get in touch with you, how would they do that? What's the best way to get in
Yeah.
touch with you?
First thing I would say is go to my personal LinkedIn page, Christopher M. Carter. Um, Go out there, say you want to connect, but leave me a message and say, "Hey, I heard you on the podcast. I'm all about core AI. Let's have a conversation." Secondarily, we have got all the social channels out there. My team takes a great job of that. But my personal LinkedIn and our personal or our corporate page, just say you would like to get in contact with Chris and say you heard it here on the podcast. If you heard me on the podcast, I say yes automatically. If you don't send me a note or if you don't have a profile picture, I do not connect with. It's one of my biggest irritants. You're supposed to be a professional on LinkedIn
Right.
or some and you
Yeah.
don't even have a profile picture, I'm sorry. Uh,
It's pretty simple.
you get this mug on my face twice. So, I highly recommend putting a picture up there if you wanna be professional.
Oh, Chris, that's wonderful. Yeah, I
A little
agree.
too honest sometimes.
No, it's okay. Be it. Own it. I love it. Well,
Amen.
I really appreciate the time today and then the insights
Thank you.
into your world. You've had a wonderful career, and I'm sure we could keep going on this, but um, I thank you so much. And if anybody's watching and you want to get in touch with Chris, catch him on LinkedIn or go straight to their website, and you'll be happy to connect. And I wish you the very best with the growth of your business.
Thank you very much. Please be safe out there. I heard about the weather today, so be
Uh,
safe.
yeah, I'm inside, so we'll be okay.
Smart man.
All right,
Thanks,
Chris.
man. Have a great one.
Thanks, man. You too.